Hey, well, welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about something that you may not have considered before. I don't know if you've thought about how your energy level and confidence and general well-being are impacted by your appearance. If you haven't, then that's what we're going to be exploring today. So I'm Katie Dean, and I help people recover from burnout, from chronic fatigue, and even ideally actually avoid getting to that state in the first place. And today I am here with a wonderful lady called Jane Mott. And she is a beauty coach or beauty therapist. I'll let Jane introduce herself and tell us which title she prefers. And then we're going to explore how you can use beauty to help your well-being and any barriers that might be getting in the way of you enjoying a lovely beauty regime at the moment. So Jane, if you'd like to introduce yourself, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Yes, I am Jane Mott. My business is Jane Mott Hair and Makeup, and I'm a beauty coach and makeup artist. And I'm passionate about sharing simple tips and advice that women over 40 and beyond can use daily to look younger, feel energized and confident. And makeup really is just confidence in a tube.
Yeah, I love that confidence in a tube. That's such a brilliant tagline. So I mean, let's go right back to the beginning. And if you could tell us sort of how you came to get into makeup and coaching and hairstyling. I know there's lots you do, so we'd love to hear how that started.
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to be a hairdresser, and I actually went to a girls' grammar school, and they discouraged hairdressing. Obviously didn't think it was a very good career for a grammar school student to go to. So when I was 16, I wasn't actually allowed to study hair, and then I ended up getting pushed into sort of office work, and I actually ended up working at Halifax Building Society in High Wycombe, and I didn't shave my legs because I used to have a reaction to shaving. And some of the girls there then said, why don't you have your legs waxed like we do? And sent me off to see a lovely lady called Dawn. And she waxed my legs, and great. I was hair-free, carefree, as they say. And I'm looking, and she does facials, and she does this, and she does that. And I started to get interested about all these little treats and trying them out, and began to realize that it was a similar career to hairdressing, and that I also had a passion. I'd always liked makeup. I was always attracted to it. My mum is still to this day a great big lipstick fiend. She's got a drawer of lipstick she opens, she mixes them. She's always been into her lipstick, but didn't really use anything else. Whereas I probably started off more with eye makeup. That was my thing. So yeah, I ended up training as a beauty therapist, and that's really where my makeup training came as part of the beauty. I did beauty, body and electrolysis back then. And then when I was 26, by the time I was 26, I was married. Obviously, we lived in our house, had a mortgage, etc. And the local college did hairdressing for the first time as an evening class. And in the back of my mind, I'd always had, I want to do hairdressing. So
Yeah.
I went along to the careers open evening or open day, and signed up. And the
Right.
rest, as they say,
It's history. Fantastic. So,
hairdressing 27 years on. So, and I
wow.
incorporate my makeup and makeup artistry into that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, amazing that you've actually come full circle and ended up exactly where you originally wanted to be via a circuitous route. And what I love about your ethos is this idea that beauty and makeup isn't simply about, trying to look younger or this or that. It is actually a form of self-love, a form of self-care. So can you maybe talk a little bit about how you use that ethos when you're working with your clients?
Yeah, I've got quite an holistic approach and outlook. I'm quite sort of more, I didn't even realize I was spiritual in my
Mm.
outlook until more recently. So I think um one of my favorite quotes is, be a pineapple, stand tall, wear a crown and be sweet. And I just think, if anything you can do, like put on your favorite blouse, you feel better. Go
Yeah.
out, buy a new lipstick. Even Coco Chanel said, you know, if you give a woman the right lipstick, she can contact the world. Contact the world. So conquer the world, sorry.
Yes.
So I just think anything really that helps just give you a lift and feel better about yourself is great, because then you give out a better energy to everybody else. You feel happier, even if it's like putting a colored mousse in your hair or anything. I mean, some people love hand cream, and I don't know. I just believe that if you look good, you feel great, and that's actually used by businesses. And there's a cancer charity that's called Look Good, Feel Great, and it is true. Anything you can do to make yourself feel better emotionally, well-being, it's a health benefit, isn't it, as well as just a
It,
great
it
way to go through life.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I know, my own backgrounds where I had illness, and that was a big thing for me on the rare occasions when I felt well enough to go out, when I was at my worst. Actually, it felt good to put on some makeup. It was sort of a sign of making myself feel a bit more normal again. So I hadn't really appreciated it until I was in that situation. So I know on the other end of the spectrum, we've got people who maybe feel pressured that they should be wearing makeup, and they're perhaps not sure where to start. So how do you work with people who are feeling that social pressure and wondering what to do about that?
Yeah, I must admit, when you sent me the questions, this one really surprised me. It was sort of this had never occurred to me, so it was really interesting for me to sort of think about it. Because if I'm working with my clients and they say, oh no, I don't wear makeup, I often say, why is that?
Right.
And quite often it's because they don't know how to use it, not been taught how to use it.
Okay.
But from me, of feeling like you're being forced to do it, I really had to think about that. And I mean, I know that in certain careers, so obviously being in the beauty industry, working on a beauty counter, you'd be expected to have a full face of makeup because you're presenting that, and that's the product you're selling. And I then thought, like airline hostesses, they're expected, I don't know if they still are, but they certainly were years ago, to have a full face of makeup on. And then I was sort of thinking about, people, and I Googled it actually, and there was an example in a magazine article about a manager taking an employee outside for a few, for a walk, and to talk about their future with the company. And while the manager was a male dressed in t-shirt, jeans, and a flip-flops, he's talking to the female, saying about, standards of appearance. Could you go to the hairdressers more often, or politely, when was the last time you went to hairdressers, and could you wear a bit more makeup? And I was quite like, oh my goodness, that's really quite shocking.
Yes.
And and then it went on about how people feel pressured and on a low income to buy makeup. And I thought, well, I've never really thought about people on a low income not being able to afford makeup, because it's available at all different price ranges. I mean, you can go into Poundland, and
Yes.
in actual fact, I have to say the Poundland nail polish for £1 is quite good.
It's good to know.
And I've always said to people, if you haven't got a lot of money for makeup, Rimmel is always a really safe lower end brand to use, yet it's a good quality. But I also think, you can wear too much makeup as well, and it's about having the right product to put on. But I think if you're in an environment where they're expecting you to conform and do something you're not happy with, then I know it's easier said than done. Perhaps you are in the wrong career. But I think, it does seem unfair that the men, can get away with not wearing concealer and makeup. And I think that's probably how I would approach it, and say, well, a little bit of concealer would help you with your dark circles, or
Yeah.
it's like a racism, ageism. It's one of the isms, isn't it, really?
It is, and it's an interesting balance between that you know, wanting to present the best side of you versus actually just wanting to be accepted for who you are. It's somewhere in the balance, yeah, as we've just been talking about. You've got at one end feeling confident because you're looking good, and on the other end you've got an actual, well, I don't want to feel like I'm not enough.
Feel confidence in their own skin.
Yeah.
No one should have to do something they don't want to do.
No.
So yeah, I mean, if you feel, you know, if someone feels confident and they've got great skin, and even if they haven't got great skin, if they don't want to wear makeup, they really shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
So as long as they present themselves, I would say, as, you know, hair's washed and clean.
Yes.
If it's someone who, you know, doesn't wash their hair very regularly, and they're in an environment where they're presented to the public and they've got greasy hair or dandruff or stuff on their shoulder that could easily be solved, then to me they've got a responsibility to do that. But no, I don't agree with people being pressurized to do something they don't want, and that's not just about makeup, that's things in general.
No, that's what I love. Nice, lovely attitude you have. And so, I mean, I'm presuming people that come and work with you are looking for transformation. So do you have any sort of stories you could share where clients have really blossomed as a result of just doing something quite simple in terms of, you know?
Yeah, well, the prime example is women with rosacea. Quite often, especially when we hit sort of 40 and beyond, and we start to go into menopause and the hormones all start to act, people can suddenly develop acne rosacea and have to deal with sort of embarrassing red skin and a rash, and they don't quite know what to do with it. And then they're a bit overwhelmed. If I walk into Boots now, and I'm not even talking about the counters, I'm not talking about Clarins and Lancome, I'm talking about the aisles where there's skincare. You can just stand in one aisle and just look on one side, and you've got 4 or 5 shelves, and there's probably about 8 different brands or more just on that one aisle, and it is totally overwhelming. And I see it as overwhelming myself, and it's like, what sort of, so it's like this, you know, 20 different cleansers there, which one's right? So I bring it right back to basics, and I don't want to overwhelm my clients with, right, so we know we've got a cleanse, tone and moisturize, then I want you to just use a serum and an eye cream and a mask, and that's too much. If someone's not used to skincare, I would just give them a cleanser that's right for them and the moisturizer that's right for them. And I'm not expecting to take more than 90 seconds in the morning and 90 seconds in the evening. And sometimes women with rosacea are only cleansing their skin once a day because they can see that cleansing the skin is irritating and make the redness worse. But equally, you do need to cleanse your skin twice a day. So they're thinking they're helping, and then they're actually not. So I like to break it really down, keep it simple so that I'm not overwhelming anyone. It's just 1 or 2 products they can introduce, and I explain why, and I just give them little tips, and I direct them to, I even do a rosacea box, so that if someone comes to me specifically with rosacea, I can give them the right cleanser and the right moisturizer. And then if they're ready for sort of a night cream or an eye cream or something, I can take it to the next step and perhaps put the CC cream in there as well, which is the complexion corrector, because obviously it's one thing to do the skincare to try and to keep the skin as healthy and creamy as we can, not red. So I want a healthy, creamy complexion. But until we get into a regular cycle, because it takes 28 days for your skin to sort of do a complete cycle, they also want to cover the redness. So a complexion corrector that's right for them will cover it. Will cover it. I do makeup bag reviews, so I can even say, right, that's the product you should be using. You've already got it. But equally, I do have the service where I can give the advice and then give them the box of products as well. And they haven't got to go to Boots and be overwhelmed.
No, that's amazing.
Or supermarket.
Yeah, well, absolutely, yes, because exactly as you say, you walk in anywhere and just the range is literally, where do you start? And it's tempting to just walk right out again as a result of that. So, how long do people typically work with you? I mean, is this sort of an ongoing thing, or do you get people that?
Yeah, I have got clients who have worked with me for over 10 years,
Right.
but I might only initially, I can do a session as short as 15 minutes, 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Usually a skincare consultation, something like rosacea or a makeup lesson would be 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then I always say to people, I come in the bag with the products, or you can get hold of me at any time. So for example, clients that I've had for 10 years, they might just message me and say, and I've even moved, because I 9 years ago I moved to the Isle of Wight, and I have clients still on the mainland that will message me and say, oh Jane, my blusher's running out, can you recommend a new one to me? Do you have one that will suit my skin? Can you send it to me?
Mhm.
And I will give them a couple of different options of what I've got, and quite often I get the message back, oh, just send me the one you know that will suit me. So that lady will have had a lesson with me probably 10 years ago.
Right.
And then every so often, she came back to me when she had children. She wanted some mineral-based sun care that she could take on holiday that wouldn't, the children wouldn't burn. So she asked me about that, and I gave her the information. And then during that time, I've always sort of supplied her cleanser and moisturizer. And then her husband had a flare up of something with his skin, and she asked me advice. So it's just a case of well, she does it through WhatsApp. So she can just pick up her phone and message me when she needs me.
Right.
So it's an ongoing, and I wouldn't need to see someone more than 4 times a year, and that would be spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Okay.
Season changes, your needs change, but equally twice a year. I mean, the cleansers that I recommend and use last 4 to 6 months. So, someone's not going to have more than 3 cleansers of me in a year max.
Yeah. Lovely. And I know you're known as the Mascara Queen, which, I mean, that fascinated me. Is like, why mascara as opposed to anything
Well,
else?
that was more a case of I wanted to move into beauty subscription boxes, so
Okay.
I can reach people nationally rather than just here on the Isle of Wight, because obviously I am separated by the Solent, which is fine. I'm quite happy being separated by the living here on this beautiful island. But I was aware, so I wanted to take my business online, and the subscription boxes that are out there at the moment are very much discovery boxes, and it's sort of like, for example, a large magazine or a large company putting in lots of little samples or travel sizes, a bit like when you go into the high street and you go up to one of the counters and they give you little freebies.
Yeah.
Discovery boxes are sort of made up of those, and yes, you get five products, which could be samples or travel sizes, and you're only looking at about £15 a month. And I thought, well, that's great, but so many women are out there not knowing what to look for. They're overwhelmed by what's there. So when you suddenly get this discovery box with 5 different products in that don't relate to each other and aren't even the same brand, you're a bit like, that's not quite what I wanted. I want something that arrives that I can use, and then just as it's running out, gets replaced.
Yes. Yeah, which is
absolutely that's great for business women like myself. I don't know. I'm not into shopping. I tend to do things online, and if I do go shopping, I like going to town, go into the one shop I want, get what I want, and come out.
Yes.
So that's the idea, and I just thought the easiest thing to get started with is mascara, and I communicate about my health then as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. And we seem to have a few video issues going on, so apologies to anyone distracted by that, but Jane's back again. The other big area that really interests me is, obviously there can be a lot of chemicals in the makeup we use, and I'd never really thought about that myself until my own illness, and I had a lot of toxic buildup in my body, and I actually at that point ended up switching to makeup that's entirely made from natural products.
Yeah.
So how do you bring all of that into your work? Because the landscape's changing, there's more awareness now of.
Absolutely, and I do get asked about vegan products all the time now, and quite often by people that aren't vegan.
Yeah.
Which actually amazes me. It's a bit like people who aren't gluten intolerant wanting gluten-free in restaurants. I do find that a bit bizarre. But yeah, chemical wise, the great news is that legally in the UK, EU, and America, products are no longer beauty products, and that's not just skincare and cosmetics. It's things like Radox shower gel, toothpaste, deodorant. I'm encompassing everything
Yeah.
here. It's not allowed to be tested on animals,
Yeah.
and which is great. And that is slowly becoming a global thing as well, because there are areas of the globe that are still behind. And we are, like you say, quite rightly, moving much more towards natural ingredients. And even in my career, when I started, when I trained as a makeup artist back in the early 90s, makeup was oil-based. And I'm sure you've heard of Max Factor's Pan Stick.
Yes.
And makeup was a lot heavier and it was oil-based, and therefore it needed an oil-based product to remove it. And now if you go out and look at makeup, it's all mineral-based. And I even had, funny enough, I did a makeup for a bride last Saturday, and the photographer said to me, "What do you mean by mineral-based makeup?" So I said, well, minerals are naturally found in the earth. They're natural minerals that are in the planet, are in the earth. And they're now being used to make makeup, which now means that makeup is much lighter and it works with our skin. It's a much more natural product. It's not, because I've had people say to me, "Oh, I don't like the feel of foundation on my face. Like I'm wearing a mask." And I immediately say, "How long ago is it that you tried foundation?" "Did you try something like Hand Stick many years ago?" "Yes." "Well, now try a mineral-based foundation, because they are so much lighter. You don't even notice you're wearing them, and they don't feel like a mask." So the industry has come on hugely. I do understand. I mean, there was a great big thing about parabens recently,
Yes.
a few years ago, in products, and the beauty industry have stripped them out of the products in general. Now, interestingly, I then went to research what is a paraben. A paraben is actually a naturally found preservative.
Okay, interesting.
There's no scientific proof that the paraben was harmful or caused any harm. It was just, it's almost like a Chinese whisper. Someone's decided that they've used a product with a paraben, and they don't think they've ever used a product with a paraben before, so that must have been the cause of.
Yes, okay, yes.
And then it's got bigger and bigger, and it's Chinese whispers, and it's got passed on, and it's coming into the media in the same way that 50 Shades of Grey got sold to millions of women without any advertising whatsoever. That was a Chinese whisper of a more positive.
Yes.
Parabens actually now have been taken out of products by beauty brands who know that they're not harmful, but because the public demands it.
Yeah.
So, and when people talk about chemicals, and you're saying you're going for more natural products, which is great. So you're wanting products that don't have synthetic man-made chemicals in them.
Yes.
Because I always say to people, everything is a chemical. I've got a glass of water here. The chemical name for water is H2O. We put salt on our food, that's sodium chloride. So it's about, everything is made up of a chemical. But I do understand what you're saying about natural products and synthetic products, and yeah, so you want a natural ingredient as opposed to a synthetic man-made one.
Yeah.
And I'm putting a little tip here. Unfragrance, the difference between unfragrance and unscented products. Generally speaking, people think unscented is better than fragrance-free. No. Fragrance-free products do not have any perfume added to them to make them smell nice. So they smell of their ingredients. So if you've got a naturally made product and it's a taste, and it will smell of the ingredients within it. An unscented product could be that exact same product, but what they've done is they've added an ingredient to mask its natural smell, to make it unscented.
Okay.
So to me, the unscented product is more likely to have a synthetic ingredient in it,
yeah,
chemical, if you like, to mask that that fragrance.
Yes, wow. And I love the way you
fragrance free.
Yeah, thank you. That's a brilliant tip for everyone. And I love the way you framed that it's not chemical. Yeah, we blacklist chemicals, but chemicals are natural. It's the difference between what is naturally occurring from the earth versus what man has synthetically made. Because what is naturally occurring, our bodies are more tuned into.
Yeah, and it's like arnica is great for bruising, but it comes from the same plant as arsenic.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
So there's the CB oil as well, isn't it? It's part of the marijuana plant.
Yes.
To get you high.
It's knowing what is what, so you can have a positive purpose or a negative purpose.
So you can probably gather from me, I'm very much about education, and by giving people the information, they can then make their own decision.
Yeah, yes, no, that's brilliant. And I mean, on that topic, have you got some simple tips, say 3 simple tips that you could share with someone right now who's thinking, well, I don't really have much of a beauty regime, I haven't really thought about this, but I'm beginning to see why there's
I mean, it's
a good thing to do.
Right back to the basics without overwhelming is cleanse and moisturize, and you want to use a cleanser morning and evening. And that's because in the morning we want to obviously start with clean skin to go out into the day. And I have a lot of people saying to me, I don't need to cleanse in the morning because I cleansed at night. I look in the mirror in the morning and my face is still clean. Well, overnight your skin goes through a different process. So during the day, your body's natural energy, your body sends to your main organs. So it's going to pump your heart, breathe your lungs, etc. When we go to bed, our body slows down, but it still makes the same amount of energy. So your energy is then available for your extremities, the biggest of which is your skin. So overnight, your skin is going to be doing far more renewing. And as it renews, it throws off the dead skin cells and it excretes the sebum that's made or oil that's made during this process. So when you get up in the morning, these dead skin cells and sebum particles are invisible to the naked eye. So that's what you want to wash off. And also at night, your head and your face are on your pillowcase. So any products that are in your hair are getting transferred to the pillowcase, which is then getting transferred back onto your skin. So, and they're all invisible particles. So it's really important to find a cleanser that you like, and use lots of water to rinse it off so you don't risk leaving residue of cleanser on your skin. So do that morning and evening, and then use a moisturizer that's right for your skin type. So generally speaking, just look if you're normal to dry, and you'll find that your skin is feeling dry. You'll know if you've got normal to dry or oily to combination. It will be a little bit shinier. You might have the odd breakout. And so if you've got oily to combination skin, you want a moisturizer that's oil free.
Yeah.
But equally, oily skin can still be dehydrated. It can still be, people think because they can see the oil that the it has got enough moisture, but oil and water, as we know, don't mix and are 2 different things. So that's really the basic tip to get into. And I may even have gone into a bit too much.
No, that's been wonderful.
I get carried away with my passion, enthusiasm.
I absolutely love your passion. I mean, yeah, I
would steer clear of cleansing wipes because the wipe is impregnated with the cleanser. So you then cleanse your face, see all the makeup on the tissue, and you throw it away, and that's it. You've now got invisible particles of makeup and cleanser on your skin. You need to rinse to remove that. So it's the sort of quick fix invention for those of us that are a bit lazy, but it's cutting a corner.
Yeah.
If you're camping, and Caroline Hirons, who is a skincare guru, facialist, she actually puts it perfectly. She says facial wipes are for fannies and festivals.
Well, that's a lovely tip for everyone. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, and also it's just that doesn't have to take a lot of time to do that.
90 seconds morning, 90 seconds evening, that's it.
Yes, there's really no excuse. So for everyone, keep your skin is such an important organ of your body, and you want to keep it
Yeah,
clean.
most people shower daily. So I say to them, do you flick the shower on and wait a few seconds before you get in? Yes. I'm like, apply your cleanser then and wash it off in the shower. It's really not
Lovely.
time to your routine at all.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you. So, I mean, well, that's actually a lovely tip for people to take away with. So I'd like to sort of end here by saying how passionate you are about this, and I love all of that. So for anyone that's been watching this that would like to work with you or find out more, where can they do that?
Yeah, I have a website, janemott.co.uk. There's also a blog linked to that. So, you always get the lines in the corner to as you drop down menu. There is a blog
Yeah,
in there. There's lots of different articles.
brilliant.
And I have got one in there called Makeup is Not Just About Looking Pretty, which would also delve from another angle into something we just sort of discussed earlier. But yeah, I've got social media channels, all of them I've sort of put down as janemott.co.uk. So to
Oh,
find me, it's janemott.co.uk. To email me, it's jane@janemott.co.uk. So I've tried to keep it really simple.
nice and simple, brilliant. And I will make sure I put that down in the comments for anyone who's needs to check spelling or anything like that. But that's wonderfully simple. Thank you, Jane. And it's been a joy to discuss all of this with you. And I hope that the audience is, finding some new angles and new perspectives that they maybe haven't thought of before. And just, so makeup is not just about looking pretty. It's energizing, it builds confidence, and yeah, it's, as you say, confidence in a tube, and who doesn't want to buy confidence? So thank you for taking the time to share all of this with us, Jane, and yes, I hope lots of people will come and visit and learn more. So
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
thank you.